Philippou brothers have brought us works such as I'm Obama, Talk to a 2022, and most recently, Bring Her Crack. So last week, I sat on the corner panhandling to scrounge up enough doubloons to buy a $15 movie ticket, $20 popcorn, and of course some fentanyl. And I'm not gonna lie, first watch kinda just nodded out in the back. So next week, sold my grandma's TV and bought another ticket. And of course some more fent. But this time, I waited to fold in the bathroom after the movie. And everyone online said that this movie is so good. You know, Reddit said that it was the scariest movie of the year. And everyone knows that Reddit is the bastion of intellectual minds. I honestly went because Meat Canyon and Wendigoon said it was really scary. And I trusted them. And when I left the theater, my friend's first words to me were, "Am I crazy or was that bad?" And listen, I was huffing so much copium the entire film. I wanted it to be good so bad. But I had to be like, yeah, dog, that was kind of bad.
It has a little something for everyone.
Okay, so to start this off, I'm going to try to summarize the movie. I cannot do this without spoiling everything. So for everyone who would rather buy Fent than go to the theater, I'm going to make sure that I try to do a comprehensive summary just so everyone knows what I'm talking about. And honestly, I'm doing this because I can't sail the open seas and find this movie in a chest with Spanish doubloons, if you catch my drift. So rather than being able to actually show you the scenes that I'm going to talk about, I kind of just need to describe them. So if you want to watch the movie, you can go do that on like 5 times speed and then go finish the video in the theater bathrooms, because I know you're all going to be good law-abiding people and pay to watch this film. Okay, so let's begin. Within the first few minutes, we're introduced to Andy and his little sister Piper, who's visually impaired. Then we get to see their father's flaccid dead penis, and he actually died from exploding penis syndrome. So Andy and Piper have to be put into foster care. And there's this whole debacle about how Andy has a criminal record, so he can't stay with Piper, but then it's resolved in like 5 seconds because Andy pinky promises to be a good boy. Their foster mom's named Laura, and from the get-go, she is so quirked up. And she has another foster child named Oliver. And Oliver is also a very quirked up white boy, but in like the most fucked up way possible. So from here, the story unfolds as life with Laura becomes increasingly bizarre and sinister. Eventually, it becomes clear that Laura has performed some sort of ritual on Oliver, who's actually a child that she abducted. She put some sort of demon or something in him because she saw it on Russian TikTok, I think. And then apparently the ritual can help her bring back her dead daughter to life. He can bring her back. Andy seems to be the only one who realizes that having a strange child in your home who eats knives and violently convulses when he leaves the giant circle painted around the house is, I don't know, kind of strange. So because of this, Laura gets on some gaslight gatekeep girl boss shit and tries to make Andy think that he is having a psychotic break. She does this by doing the master manipulator move, and keep in mind she is a therapist, so she knows all the best methods. So she pisses in a cup and pours it on his pants while he sleeps, so he thinks that he's a bedwetter. Genius. And she does a lot of weird shit, actually. For example, such as going to Andy and Piper's dad's funeral with them and trying to get Andy to, you know, just like kiss his dad's dead lips for some reason. And, you know, I think it's kind of a big plot hole because for some reason Andy's not game, which I don't really get. So Laura's pretty chill about it. She just cuts off some of his dad's hair and then kisses him for Andy, just because she's like chill like that, I guess. And make sure to remember this, because don't worry, it will never be further explained. I guess she just likes kissing dead men, which I guess who doesn't. Later on, Andy is showering and he actually sees his dead father in the room with him and freaks out, hitting his head and needing to go to the hospital. Once again, I'm going to want you to remember this because it will never be further explained. At the hospital, Laura convinces doctors that Andy is having a psychotic break. This is another masterful move, resulting in, well, actually nothing. He just goes back home the next day, and then Laura complains in the car about how they shouldn't have let someone who's having a psychotic break out after one day. But I disagree, however. Personally, I think that psychotic people should be put on the streets and then given addictive drugs, personally. But maybe that isn't an option in Australia. Eventually, Andy has enough and tries to get Piper out of the home. And this happens because Laura does the very reasonable move of hitting Piper in the face while she sleeps and then gaslighting Piper into thinking that Andy did it. She is just hitting it out of the park each time with these masterful manipulator moves. There ends up being an altercation between Andy and Laura where Andy lets his inner white monster rage out and punches a hole in the drywall. This gets him kicked out of the home, and then Andy goes to social services and is like, bro, this lady is crazy, dog. She abducted a child and is saying it's her nephew. So social services take him back to Laura's home to investigate, and around this time, I'm pretty sure we also find out that Laura is casually just, keeping her dead daughter's corpse in an ice chest in the garage. And she's a chill foster parent, and so she lets Piper, unknowingly touch the corpse, and then, she just lets Oliver, who's becoming quite the hungry hippo for some reason, she lets him eat the corpse's face. Nice. Also, this is a good time to mention that this entire summary is going off my memory, and I watched the movie once, like 3 weeks ago, so I sincerely apologize if I get anything wrong. And if I do fuck up the summary, or you just hate my opinion, feel free to call me an idiot in the comments, but only after liking and subscribing. Can't call me stupid unless you do that. Alright, champ? Anyways, so back to Andy and social services. So they pull up to Laura's crib, and Laura's cleaning up because Oliver just ate the kitchen counter and chopped a chunk of her arm off. And she just got word from social services, who she used to work for, that they're coming to spin the block. And when social services get there, Laura is so fucking smooth, bro. All she does is frantically explain that she's doing a ritual to bring her dead daughter back. Roll credits. After the social worker is like, why is there a child mouth shaped hole in your cock? Arm in your arm. The social worker becomes now officially one of 2 people who has common fucking sense in this film, and tells Andy, dude, we need to get the fuck out of here. So they just run off into the sunset, and they live happily ever after on a puppy farm. It's not a puppy mill though, it's like just a farm with a lot of puppies and even some ponies. Huh? Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I'm looking over my notes, and it looks like Laura actually just hits them with her car before they leave, killing the social worker. Let's see. Oh, yeah. And then she drowns Andy in a fucking puddle. And then they live happily ever after. Alright, so after this, Laura goes to get Piper because it's time to finish the ritual. Piper is blind like her daughter, so she's the perfect sacrifice. Piper must die by drowning, just like Laura's daughter, for the ritual to bring her back. Roll credits. And her pool has just finished filling up with rainwater, because I guess Laura doesn't have a hose or something to fill the pool up with. Maybe they don't have those in Australia. So Piper gets home and realizes something's up. Then she finds Andy's dead body and makes a run for it, but unfortunately she is gay and blind, so she just runs into a fucking wall. Laura takes her out to the pool, and she starts drowning Piper, until Piper remembers that Laura has one weakness. You see, Laura's Achilles heel is her mommy kink. So Piper calls her mommy, and Laura instantly flashes back to the hundreds of hours of Mommy Calls You a Good Boy ASMR videos she watched and lets Piper go. Genius move. So Piper runs out of that hoe and gets picked up by a passing car. Oliver, or whatever his real name is, realizes that the movie is kind of wrapping up, so he decides now is a good time to take control of his body after he sees a conveniently placed missing poster of himself. So he just walks out of the white circle, and the thingy in him is exorcised. Then the police show up, and they find Laura has phantom taxed herself in the pool while holding her daughter's freezer burnt corpse. The end.
Oh, brother!
Alright, bro, there are so many fucking plot holes and aggravating, stupid, I'm trying really hard not to say moments in this movie. And I think my biggest complaint with the movie is how literally everything Andy did was fucking pointless. He was the only person who realized, wait, white boys shouldn't be this quirked up. And we spent so much of the movie following Andy as he tried to rebel against Laura while she gaslight gatekeep girl bosses him. And then finally, he gets social services to check out the house. But Laura is onto it. She starts cleaning everything up. So I'm sitting there like, oh shit, this is going to be one of those annoying moments where no one believes him. But no, social services is like, bro, we need to get the fuck out of here. Yes. Thank God. But then I guess Laura drives a fucking Hellcat because she hits 0 to 60 in like 2 seconds and fucking hits them. Okay. But Andy's still alive. And the film has pointed out a few times how strong he is and how he loves to work out. So we can totally just fight Laura off and she drowns him in a puddle. Okay, well, at least he died so Piper would realize Laura is fucking insane. So I guess he died for a oh, never mind. She just ran into a fucking wall. Okay. They had me at first, but if you pay attention very carefully, the ritual only works if the dead person and the sacrifice die in the same way. Very smart. I see what's happening. So since Andy and Laura's daughter both drowned, that means no. Actually, it doesn't mean anything. And Piper only had to fulfill Laura's mommy kink to escape. So why the fuck did Andy die? Well, you see, it's actually very simple. He died for no fucking reason. Cool. We spend so much time following Andy for what? Nothing. No payoff. His character meant nothing. To have a satisfying character death, that character has to die for something greater. And Andy did not do that. If he hadn't even existed, the film would have played out nearly exactly the same. He was so pointless. He was just plot filler. Also, crazy thought, but if Andy is such a problem to Laura's plan, maybe just, I don't know, refuse to foster him? Like, we know that she can do that. It's literally mentioned like 10 minutes into the movie. And you know what? I'm gonna say it. That's pretty fucking Okay. Let's talk about the driving aspect of this film. The possession. We are in the dark so hard with this part. Like, they give us nothing. Like, how did Laura learn about this? Where are the VHS tapes from? Why does Oliver look like a demon when you take a picture of him? We just get nothing. Which is okay. Like, I can live with it, I guess. But it would have been nice to at least sprinkle some info in so the audience has an idea of what Andy and Piper are dealing with. I think that Hereditary has a somewhat similar concept, and they do a really good job of slowly revealing that information. It just kind of felt like we were building up to a big reveal, and then right before gooning, the etch sesh stopped. And why the fuck did Laura piss in a cup and pour it on Andy? There was no need for that. Piss in the toilet, then put the cup in the toilet. It's that easy. We all do it. There was no need for that. Did she have a piss kink? I guess the audience just doesn't get to know. Disappointing. Okay, so I'm going to quickly relinquish the hatred from my heart and talk about what I really liked about this movie, and that's the practical effects. They were very unnerving. Every time Oliver tried to eat some fuck shit, I was sitting in my chair squirming. It was so uncomfortable and brutal, and I loved it. As for the other parts I loved, they had cool accents. Go Britain, I guess. Thanks for colonizing Australia. I don't like a movie that's strongest point is its gore. Was it cool? Yeah. But what would have been cooler is a good story where the characters' actions actually matter. And before you come at me saying, the point of horror is to disturb and discomfort. You see, art discomforts the comforted and comforts the disturbed. Consider this. Shut the fuck up. I also dropped out of film school and I work as a barista, bitch. If I wanted to watch gore without a story, I'd hop on Twitter and watch people die for free, like a man. The effects were cool. I will give them that. But here's the thing. They become meaningless when they're not part of a greater narrative. Crazy shit like stabbing yourself in the face can accentuate the highs of a good horror film or a psych ward visit by making it that much better. But when these parts are the biggest thing a film has going for it, I think you're doing something wrong. You should use that discomfort as a tool to further the narrative, not as some sort of crutch. And I think my biggest problem with the film comes from the narrative. It just kind of didn't make sense, dog. Like, listen, okay. Chief Keef once said, "The best form of storytelling requires the artist to show, not tell. This enhances storytelling by engaging readers, creating vivid experiences, and helping them connect with characters on a deeper level." And this film definitely showed a lot, but bro, everything is so esoteric and abstract that you have to tell us something. You have to give us some points to connect. I needed to know more about the world this film took place in. Like, where are those VHS tapes from? Why is there a giant fucking circle around the house? What is this demon? Where's this ritual coming from? Why now? Why? Like, I just don't understand. I want something. I want to know more, and I didn't get hardly anything. And you don't have to spoon feed everything to the audience, but you have to give us something so we can connect the pieces. I think a film that did this wonderfully is Hereditary. In Hereditary, you have all these occult pieces working in the background. The audience always knows something bigger is going on, but they can't put their finger on what it is. And this drives the suspense as you're trying to understand what is happening until finally at the very end you get your answers. Everything is revealed in this natural way that doesn't feel like the film thinks you're fucking stupid. And the big reveal feels so worth it. It turns out that everything was just like some big Diddy party. Bring Her Crack does not give you that reveal. You wait and wait and wait, and then the movie fucking ends. And you sit there with blue balls. And it's so sad. I wanted to goon. Why doesn't this movie let me goon? And I won't even mention the issues with Andy's arc again, out of an abundance of caution so I don't have a fucking brain aneurysm and die. I wouldn't say this movie is great. It's not the next Hereditary or Garfield movie, but it's not awful. Once again, I'm gonna relinquish the hatred from my heart. I respect the Philippou brothers. It's cool to see OG YouTubers breaking into new fields instead of just like grooming kids. This shouldn't be seen as a hit piece against them. I just had so much hype going into this movie, and I feel like it did not meet the hype. I think this speaks more to a systemic problem with horror movies. A lot of them just do not have good plots. And we're just supposed to look past that because, ooh, it's a scary ghost. I think that horror is one of the most difficult mediums to write for. There's this fine balance that has to be kept. You need to create a compelling story with interesting characters while also taking the time to intertwine a sense of terror. And I feel like so many movies just focus on the scares while completely neglecting character development and plot. Additionally, in a story like this, you have to feed the audience enough background information just to let them put the pieces together without spoon feeding them everything. You have to find this perfect medium between keeping the audience entirely in the dark and treating them like they're fucking disabled by explaining like every single plot point to them. I guess like a good or probably bad example of a movie that just spoon feeds you everything, like you're just sitting in your chair at the fucking nursing home, was The Taking of Deborah Morgan. That movie makes me so mad. But anyways, both extremes lead to an unsatisfying film. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that this is something that's easy to do. I'm fucking stupid, dog. I could not make a movie. So shout out to everyone who at least tries. And you know what? Let's have a moment of silence for Raka Raka's valiant attempt and everyone who lost their lives in the September 11th attacks.
From the creation to the glory and tragic ending, we will never forget.
I feel like Bring Her Back was so close to being great. but just ended up being kind of mid. I wouldn't spend your Fent money to buy a movie ticket to watch this, but who knows? Maybe it can be a fun movie to watch at home with friends while touching each other sensually when it comes to streaming services. And honestly, after going through the script, I realize I'm being pretty critical of this movie. It's not horrendous. There have been much, much worse movies. And honestly, Bring Her Back has a lot of stuff going for it. This just wasn't really my cup of tea, I guess. Get it? Because they're British. I'm excited to see what these guys put out next, and I hope with more experience, they're going to be able to make something even cooler than this. Because, you know, at the end of the day, these are two dudes breaking into a new space, and this is only their second film. They deserve some grace. But unfortunately, I'm an asshole. And honestly, if anything I said about this movie sounded kind of cool to you, then I'd say by all means, like, fuck it, watch it. Maybe you'll like it. Maybe I'm just an overcritical asshole whose brain has been fried by Zins and galaxy gas. I know at least half of that statement is true. I would give Bring Her Crack 3 out of 5 corn dogs. Not enough Obama smoking crack and eating corn dogs. I don't think we're getting a Bring Her Back Fortnite skin.
It has a little something for everyone.